page 128. 128.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם
Waiting for someone to sit down.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים
No, this is good. No.
הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Dan would have liked this. This just was one of his favorite songs. And we're going to do our best to have us sing together all of, or some of his favorite songs. The Jewish custom of sitting Shiva, strictly speaking, means that we're just sitting together for 7 days, eating food, sharing stories, laughing, making time to process, making time to hug, making some time to cry, making time to connect with each other, and to listen to all the different memories that each single person in this room is carrying with them. Because no person is known entirely. And even though I think many of us have a very clear sense of who Dan was and who he was all about, there's always another story, another incident, another joke you have never heard before. For those of you who are here for the first time, the emergency exit is right there in case we have to leave abruptly, or right here if that direction is more useful. And if anybody here needs to find a bathroom and hasn't found it yet, here's our fabulous Lynn Rosen. She can guide you there. We are going to begin this short time together with music played by Ava Swanson. And now I'm completely mortified to have forgotten the title again. What is it? Blowing in the Wind. Thank you.
My name is Ava Swanson, and I was lucky to call Dan my chosen granddad. And this was a song that I sang at many different rallies that he organized throughout the years, as well as we sang this song together in his living room a lot in the last couple of years. And he loved this song, and I think it answers or asks some of the questions that we can't answer in this moment. So I would love if you would sing along with me in the choruses, and know that Dan, he always, whenever I finished any song, he would always say, "Thank you, I loved every moment." And so know that he would have loved every moment. How many roads must a man of sail before she sleeps in the sand? And how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? And how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? And how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan had two women, but one of them he always talked about. The best. She's just the best. His daughter, Steph.
Dear editor, in yet another egregious attack on our democracy, justice, and righteous citizenship, my father, Dan Lurie, has died. To add insult to this unconscionable offense, the rabbi has asked me to speak. Only the very brave request a Lurie to speak about another Lurie. To be charged to weave words about the man that gave me my words is a call to action. It's a call to protest, to the streets, with the rallying cry of, I don't know, a quote from one of his heroes, Martin Luther King. John Lewis, he did like a good kind of trouble and a lot of bad kind of trouble too. Certainly can't quote my father, because most of his recent vocabulary was reduced to a string of words not fit for a synagogue. I mean, an editorial page. I could borrow from one of the last 5 days of emails, texts, calls, notes, and social media blessings from family and friends. This outpouring of love depicts him as an inspiration, a force, fearless, tireless, and joyful, a community builder, a fighter, an activist, a role model, a champion for equality, even a legend. He would have really appreciated that one. I'm hoping he's getting to read all of these declarations, because if you knew Dan, he would have really liked that. As is often the case, the best messengers are the youngest members of the pod. In my father's last hours, I held the phone to his ear so his 2 grandchildren could talk to him one last time. What they said, what they recalled, were years of unconditional love, unrelenting silliness, piles of chocolate chip cookies, and so many gallons of ice cream. Dan's grandchildren thanked him for the endless lessons on history, on baseball, on the importance of fitness, on flowers, on social justice and social responsibilities. In the words of my son, who said, "You taught me all the important things about how to stand up for what is right and being a good person." Exactly. "You taught me how to be a Lurie, and I will not forget. I will always be a Lurie." At which point, Ty and I, with tears streaming down our faces, looked at each other and thought, "Oh, our job here is done. We hatched some good ones." So what is being a Lurie? It's showing up for people you love, going to their plays, to their concerts, to their games, debate tournaments. It's treading water below the tallest diving board so your kids can jump and pop up to the safety of your grasp, and being the doting, loyal president of your children's fan clubs. And there are no term limits on that position. Being a Lurie, a Dan-style Lurie, meant nonstop reading, nonstop writing, and nonstop talking. Talking, lots and lots of talking. About farm workers, about marriage equality, about anti-Semitism, about wage equity, about voting rights, about the Yankees. Being a Lurie was not and is not just activist boot camp. Family dinner time entertainment was loud grammar rants, mocking, apostrophe catastrophes, and the egregious misuse of the subjective and objective pronouns. It was not always just about saving the whales or saving the clean water, protecting women's right to choose, protecting democracy from oppressive despots, protecting wildlands from greedy timber companies, protecting children from guns, stopping wars, stopping unqualified people from getting elected, boycotting grapes, boycotting Nestle, boycotting South Africa, registering people to vote at church on Sunday in Texas, going door to door, encouraging people to vote, telling people for whom to vote, and collecting t-shirts, proclaiming all of the above. Today, some of us are wearing his shirt collection. His t-shirt stash is rivaled only by the size of his Yankee t-shirt hoard. He's got a sweatshirt there and a seat. Dan was actually what people would call frugal, but we just called it cheap. His cars were notoriously held together by duct tape and bumper stickers. His garage is an archive of resistance depicted by shoddy slapdash signs made from box lids, seltzer flats, and this gym, a garbage can top. While his artistic skills may have been less than stellar, his persistent insistence to resist was exemplified by his stamina at marches, at rallies, and his tenure on the courthouse steps. Being a Lurie also meant collecting oceans and rivers and lakes, collecting mountaintops, collecting coast-to-coast bike rides, collecting hours in the pool or in the gym, all places where he would then collect more friends. Dan also collected albums of so many genres. The guy was a shameless public dancer, and he did actually know how to move. Being a Lurie includes the sappiest of the sap, a hopeless romanticism, never missing a chance to remind Ty, his wife of 30 years, of his unfaltering adoration. My dad taught me how to spiral a football, how to scoop a grounder and turn two from shortstop, how to make tofu salad, our own bread, yogurt, and deliver speeches behind podiums and beamas. He taught me a one-handed jump shot, how to drive stick shift on a hill in the snow, how to pitch a tent, haul a backpack, never arrive to another person's house empty-handed. If you can't afford the tip, you can't afford to go to the restaurant. Stretch before, during, and after running a marathon. If you're on time, you're actually a little late. And how little you need to pack before getting on a plane to explore another country for an unplanned adventure. My dad taught me things out of the norm for daughters of the 60s and 70s. I was a young woman, not a girl, not a chick. I belonged on the Little League team. I was to ignore every message from the entire world telling me that I needed to be quiet, I needed to be pretty and skinny to prepare to be someone's wife. He insisted I would be Ms. Lurie, not Miss or Mrs. someone else. He taught me not only to know the difference, but to fight for it. He used to joke that he was raised by a lesbian feminist daughter, which of course defies our understanding of how generations and math work. The sentiment was kind, however, but really not true. My father did raise me to be a feminist, and he raised me to understand that I was loved enough, trusted enough, supported enough, and free enough to love whomever I wish. I'm not totally clear on what happens after we die. I hope Dan has unlimited access to Snickers bars. We have some for you here, because he stole so many from the temple. We have like a debt. We have a serious Snicker bar temple debt. Unlimited access to those, unlimited access to Bob Dylan, to Texas barbecue, to bagels, to books, and views of all his favorite places. I know all of his favorite people will be missing views of him and unlimited access to his big hugs and his big heart. Dear editor, I know I have exceeded the word count limit. Please allow for this just this one time. I promise not to write every 30 days just for a bit. Scratch that. My dad would want me to write as often as possible. Sincerely, Stephanie Lurie, Bozeman, Montana.
On page 582, there is a Jewish prayer that is called El Maleh Rachamim. God is full of mercy. Dan loved coming here. It was his third beloved place after the Ridge. In the end, I think it was his second, but that was not because of me. He loved it here. He always said to me, I haven't been here in 40 years, but it's all somewhere in here. It's in here. And he would sing with all the passion that a human being could just bring to this place and to God. And I don't even know if he ever believed in God, but he believed in these prayers. El Maleh Rachamim, God full of mercy. This is for you, Dan. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה. אם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר כי המזהירים לנשמת יקירנו שהלך לעולמו. על הרחמים יסתירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו וינוחו ושלום ונאמר When I first met Dan, he was sitting on grass at Fred Leopold's house, and he screamed, "I can't hear you!" And someone said, "That's your fault, Dan. Switch your hearing aids on." And then after the services, he came to me and said, "Where are you from? You're from Brooklyn, right? I'm from New York, too." And he showed me his Yankee head. And then he told me a little bit about his dad, how he would be forced to go to synagogue. And he said, "I don't even know what I'm doing here." And since then, I saw him almost every Friday. Dan was sitting here, an empty chair. Sometimes he left a shirt or a cap, so this is very adequate. And I would preserve it until the following week. He never knew what page we were on. And it is due to Steph that he had any sense of what was going on. But he was never looking anyway, because he closed his eyes and he sang along. The next pages are a quiet prayer. We're going to do it quickly. 344, a standing prayer that gives you some time to find your space in this space. Please rise if you're able. 344. And I'm going to do something a little unusual now. It's usually only done on high holiday services. But Dan always complained that we didn't open the ark enough. So we're going to open the ark today for Dan. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, may my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיד ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. 350. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, והוא מושיענו והוא מלכנו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם. אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. ושברך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך אתה אדוני האל, האל הקדוש. Please continue on your own page, on the following pages, using either the words on the page or within your own heart, or just wait for whatever comes up. And if you're ready on page 360, please take a seat. In the last years of his life, Dan was probably quite different to all the people who have known him for much longer. For me, he was more or less the person I had met 5 years ago. He was quirky. He loved praying. He loved being here. But he also was a teacher, even though, or maybe especially, because he was just much more of what he used to be. He was loving and kind and cursed a lot and loved beautiful music and dahlias and sunshine. This would be a good day for him. And every now and then, he said something really remarkable. 3 months after October 7th, Steph told me, he said, "What are we doing? We're killing them." It's something I will never forget. He was shattered after October 7. He couldn't believe what had happened. But his heart was open and full of empathy for all the humans on this earth. Say Shalom, may peace come. Page 360.
Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Say Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Israel. Ve'imru. Amen. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Israel. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol tevel. Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Say Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Ve'imru, amen. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al yoshvei tevel ve'imu. Amen. This is the moment when, during an afternoon service, we would take out the Torah scrolls and we will read them. And Dan would have loved that. But the truth is that much more important than reading from the Torah in his honor is to actually put action to our words. So it was, I think, the day that Dan died, that someone in this little apartment, this little house that was full of love and full of tears and full of giggles, said, "We should do something." What is this word in Hebrew? Tite, something with tite? And I said, Tikkun olam. Tikkun olam. Tikkun olam means the repair of the world. And maybe this was the Hebrew term that was closest to Dan's heart. It is on us, on all of us, to make this world into a place that would make Dan happy. So maybe you've already done this, but when you enter the synagogue and when you leave the synagogue, there's a little box. It's called Dan's Call to Action, or it's called the Tikkun box. And there are little pieces of white paper and lots of markers, thank you, teacher, to write in all the colors that your heart desires. Write one thing that you vow to do in Dan's honor to make this world a better place, to contribute your little piece to tikkun olam. It could be many things. It could be a march. It could be to accompany immigrants to the food bank. It could be the creation of a poem. It could be so many things. But do something, because this is what we learned from Dan, to do the things that other people only talk about, and you put on your t-shirt, and you do them. On page 596, we can read together. Hold on a second. I always do that. And he was so forgiving about it. Really? All right. Okay. So it must have annoyed him a great deal at times. 592. 592. When I die. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We shall overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Ooh, deep in my heart, I do believe.
for as long as he had any sense of time. The prayer on page 598 was the most important for him. The Kaddish, the prayer in honor of the dead. He used to say it on behalf of his son Kevin. It was the most important moment of the entire service. I do not know if Dan knew that we believe that every time we say this prayer, we help the soul of a diseased, beloved person slowly rise, slowly go home. But it would have meant the world for him. To see all of you here saying Kaddish for him. Page 598. And we're going to say it slowly so that he will not miss it, because sometimes he missed it, and then we had to do it twice. Please rise if you're able. Dan Lurie, Daniel David. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יש למה רבה מן שמיא, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונו לברכה, may his memory be for a blessing. Please be seated one last time. Actually, you know what? Please do not be seated. Remain standing. Beth Shalom has a custom which I inherited, I believe, from my predecessor, Rabbi Ed, who is somewhere here in this space. It is to hug and to sing of a world that is united in peace. And Dan loved it. So even if it's not your usual custom or comfort zone, today we're going to, all of us, do it. Hug the person next to you. Make the rounds. Swing back and forth. If you have a lighter on you, you can totally light it up. And, it's okay. We are on page 657. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol
Thank you to Kyle. Maybe you thought about more to say, more to remember. There are still more bagels and more lox and more cream cheese. Please spend as much time. The stories you're remembering today are exactly the ones that this family wants to hear.